Look, 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 look. What an amazing look. Some crunchy, salty crackers, just the way you like them. Don't miss out. Hello, today we're going to make a great recipe. We're going to make salty crackers at home with a touch of flavor, so they'll be just the way you like them. They're also very easy to make, so watch closely as I begin. The first thing I'm going to do is chop a little bit of parsley, which I love fresh, and I think it goes perfectly with this recipe. On the other hand, we put 1/3 cup or 60 milliliters of milk in a large bowl. And here, I'm going to add 30 grams or 2 tablespoons of butter. If your butter is unsalted, you can add salt to taste at this point. And if you want to add extra salt, now is also the time. Also, we add 1 cup of flour once the previous ingredients are mixed, and we add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch or corn flour. Here we also add 3 grams of dry baker's yeast, or half a teaspoon, and the same amount of baking soda. Mix it all together. If you don't have baking soda, you can use baking powder or chemical yeast instead. Mix very well until a kind of dough forms. And once you have a dough that you can work with, even with your hand, that you can knead, that's when you add the little things that give it extra flavor. All of this is optional, but I add sesame seeds. I put in about 2 tablespoons, and I do it like this, little by little. I add some, mash it a bit, add some more, mash again so it mixes in, and so on. And I do the same with the parsley that we chopped earlier. I add some with the ajonjoli, or sesame seeds, and mix the rest well. And mix until you have a more or less homogeneous dough. In the end, it will look like what you see on the screen. A dense and prepared dough. What I'll do now is cover it and let it rest for 30 minutes. I, add a pinch of salt, some sesame seeds, ajonjoli, and chopped parsley. But you can add whatever you want, any touch that you think goes well in savory cookies. In it goes. And I'm sure it works like that. You'll make them just to your personal taste. After that time, the dough will have risen slightly, and it will be time to stretch it out really well. The easy way is to do it like this, placing it directly on a sheet of parchment paper or wax paper and putting another one on top. That way, it's very easy to stretch it out with a rolling pin, or simply with a bottle. The only thing is to keep turning, pressing, and stretching until you get a nice thin layer. The thinner it is, the crispier the cookies will be, and they'll bake faster. So I'll leave that up to your preference. I like them really thin, just like this. See? Perfect. I'm going to center the paper a bit so you can see it well, and now let's cut them. I'm just going to make strips of roughly the same size. And with the dough I remove from the edges, I knead it again and make more strips. Then, cuts one way and then the other. And there I have them, and I'm going to place them on a rack lined with parchment paper. Oven rack as well, of course. The only thing you have to remember is, before baking, to poke each one a little with a fork. That way, the air will move and they won't puff up weirdly inside the oven. Now we go to the oven, preheated at 170 ghee, 340 degree to bake. We're going to leave them until they're golden brown. They can take about 15 minutes, give or take a couple of minutes, depending on their thickness. And in the end, you'll have a marvel like this one you see here. Look how amazing they look. Delicious, with the flavors you like the most, and super easy to make. I'm going to prepare a little dish that will be devoured at the table. Absolutely delighted. How amazing does this look? Look up close. Some salty crackers, Quakers, call them whatever you want. The important thing is that you're going to enjoy them. A whole bunch, and they turn out perfect without any difficulty. Look, golden and toasted on the top and bottom. Just the right crunch, and when you break them, snap. Look, what a wonder. I really hope you like the idea. Here you catch me enjoying these wonders. I'll leave you the ingredients and exact amounts written here, as well as in the video's description box. This way, you have no excuse, and you can make these wonders at home without any problem. If you want more, let me know in the comments below. What should we cook together? I'm confident we'll create something delicious. For more tasty ideas, check out my hundreds of videos on the channel. Find your next favorite recipe. But if what you're looking for are sweet recipes, not here. In Saladolandia, I don't have them, because for that, I have a specific channel with hundreds of recipes, called Colossalandia. Take a look, they're really good. Thank you.